Hey YouTube, it's Justin, aka Demonic Sweaters, here with another Alesis Nitro mesh video, and today what I wanted to talk about was the internal song and metronome and accompaniment features that are in the Alesis Nitro mesh module. Now these are things that I really don't use that often personally, but I had several commenters ask me about them and what my thoughts were and how to use them, so I thought I'd make a video on it anyway. And so today, earlier, was the first time I really dove in deep and played with it myself, and I have several opinions on these features on the module itself, and I'm going to share them with you. Now, on the Alesis Nitro Mesh module, there's a metronome feature as well as the song feature, and when you play the metronome, it has the ability to, well, supposedly has the ability to tell you whether you're playing fast or on time or slower than the beat. And one of the big problems with this I found is, well, it just doesn't really work. Really what it tests is if you're playing right along with the click or not. So if you have a click that's going beep, 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 and you're playing right exactly that with your hi-hat, it will say that it's good or it's on time. But if you start playing a even like remotely complicated beat at all over top of it, it just really can't figure out what you're doing, and it just goes back and forth from fast to slow and fast to slow and fast to slow. So don't think of that. So don't think of that thing as if you're just getting started playing the drums, I wouldn't put too much trust in that trainer feature on the metronome itself. Just use it, you know, basically what you could do is you could turn it on and play your hi-hat just along with it to make sure that you have the correct tempo, and then once you do that, start playing and then kind of ignore what that thing is telling you after that, because it's really not going to be accurate unless you're just playing the most simplified beat that you could ever possibly imagine right along to the metronome click. It is really not going to work. So the other thing that I found is a lot of the patterns in the song features are really just not very useful for me. I mean, I just think that they're pretty busy, and especially if it's somebody that is first learning to play the drums and just starting out playing, there's, you know, kind of a lot of stuff going on in these, and they're pretty cheesy sounding too. So like, yeah, they're pretty cool. You know, they have some pretty cool grooves to play to and stuff like that, where you could, you know, play some pretty complex rhythms over. But the problem being is if this is supposed to be a feature for kind of beginning drummers, it really doesn't have anything like that in there. That's very simple and just kind of a part A, part B, you know, simple song that a new drummer could play along to. So it's not really good in that regard. That's not to say that it's not a pretty cool feature. I mean, it is fun sometimes just to play along to some of the grooves in there if you feel like playing to something you don't feel like recording or don't have anybody to jam with at the moment. There's some pretty, you know, decent sounding loops in there that you can jam along to and just sort of have fun for a little while. However, the one thing I did notice that I never even knew was in here before, maybe I missed that part of the manual or I just didn't pay attention, is if you go up far enough in the song pre-programmed settings, there's some basically just percussion accompaniments like congas, bongos, you know, bells, things like that. And these are actually really pretty cool, I think, because I'll probably end up using some of these. It's nice to just have a separate percussion track going along to you being able to play, you know, some straight ahead drums. You can still select your custom kits after you select one of those percussion loops. And so it's kind of like a nice accompaniment. Like if you want to use this as like, you know, a section in a song that has percussion, or maybe a whole song that you're recording with percussion all the way through, you can easily turn it on and off with this module itself and just play right along to it. Of course, everything will be on one stereo track if you record it that way, so there won't be any way to basically separate the percussion from the regular drums, but still, it's a pretty cool feature, and I'll probably end up using it at some point. I'm curious to hear how it sounds if I run it through like a bunch of effects and things like that, just to do some experimental stuff.
So that's pretty much all of my thoughts on the metronome and the percussion and song features of the Alesis Nitro Mesh module. Hopefully you guys found that educational and helpful. If you did, you can let me know by clicking like and subscribing. Check out my other videos. I have more drum lessons on the way very soon. And once again, thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope you have a great weekend.